Hey, how's it going? We're gonna go over how to draw Biollante, I think that's how I pronounce it. From Godzilla. It's a movie that I just saw because it just kind of went on like sale in a way. You know, like it used to be really expensive. I'll talk about that in a minute. But it's gonna be very direct, and this is gonna be kind of for intermediate. Okay, so it is gonna be a long video. It's gonna be kind of intermediate, and I'm gonna take you through pretty much everything I'm thinking, and there will be segments where I speed up because it's just gonna be boring. It's just gonna be like, doing that stuff. But let's get started. I'm gonna start with this regular mechanical pencil, and the paper I'm using, I'm just using straight up computer paper, and that's pretty much it. So let's try to keep this on the page. It's gonna be hard to do that because Biollante is a really huge kind of creature with a lot of stuff going on. I'm gonna have, as far as the direction goes, I kind of want this flow to him, this kind of flowy thing, because he's got these little tentacles that kind of come out all over the place, these little snapping things. So this is a kind of flow. I want it to look like a wave, if that makes any sense. Kind of like when you see like a mosasaur coming from a wave. I've seen those cool illustrations. Alrighty, I'm gonna go over here. I am gonna have the mouth open, but I don't think I want to have him like roaring. He's gonna have the mouth open, but I'm not gonna have him like super too crazy. And I want the head slightly turned away from me. That's another thing. So I don't really have a reference figure. I usually have like an action figure for reference. I don't have that. I just have like the box cover. So I mean that's pretty much all I got for reference. But I'm gonna imagine his head turned away. Where, like I said, normally I'd have like an action figure to kind of help me out. Sorry if some of this is too light. This stage of it is gonna be really, it's gonna be really light. So hopefully you can kind of see it. I get you. Alrighty, let's see. Going over here, kind of making this part of the mouth long. But like I was saying before, this is a movie I just saw because I've seen every Godzilla movie, but then I was like, what is this? And then I saw that for a long time, it was on eBay, and it was on, eBay and Amazon, and the movie Godzilla vs. Biollante, I'm going to keep saying Biollante, guys, was so expensive. And I'm like, man, why is even on simple DVD, is it so expensive? That's strange. And then finally, I just kind of randomly looked around like a month or two ago, and I saw that it was like $20 or $29. And I was like, what? That's great on DVD. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get it. So I got it, and it was awesome. So that was really good. And yeah, that is history. And now I am drawing him. Thinking about his proportions, because he has a crocodile-like face. So I'm trying to make that come out, but without it being a little too how do you say this, without it being a little too, like without it being too big that it just goes out of the paper. So that's going to be my biggest control thing, would be having to control it without having it fly out the paper, because that can totally happen. Alrighty. Going over here, he's got this kind of like, it looks, I forgot he's made of like nuclear garbage or something, right? I can't remember. Plants or something like that. He's got these two teeth here. The most detail is going to be in his face. I'm kind of just marking stuff out here, and then I'm going to put it a little more deep in there in probably later on, of course. But yeah, it's great to kind of, also don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't. I'm going to be drawing a bunch of Godzilla universe creatures and a bunch of kaijus and a bunch of creations and stuff like that. That's pretty much what I think I'm going to lean into for the channel for a while. I really like, just kind of drawing this kind of stuff for fun. So absolutely, hit the subscribe if you like that kind of stuff. And don't forget to press the bell notification. That's going to be the most important thing. All right, so there's teeth coming up. Let me see this over here. There's going to be obviously sharp teeth over here. Again, he kind of looks like a crocodile. In a way. Kind of like a dinosaur crocodile, maybe like a spinosaur. I want his eyes kind of aiming forward. The reason for that is because predators tend to have their eyeballs facing forward, where prey tends to have it facing outward. Like even if it's on the side of his head, usually like they're kind of looking like their eye placement's a little bit forward because they need binocular vision to hunt. Usually. All right, going over here. So I got a lot of the hard part of the face, I think now. So what I want to do now is I want to go into. I'm gonna make the lower jaw a little bit smaller. So now I'm gonna make. I gotta make his garbage. I'm gonna have to push him right to the border of the paper here, and he's gonna come out because his head's supposed to be a little bit smaller in comparison to this plant texture that he has kind of all over the place. And that plant texture will kind of like change around a bit depending on the artist that kind of draws him. Because he does have like a lot of information going on, so you have to be very aware. He has his orb too in his stomach area. So as long as you hit the orb area and obviously the head area, then you should be all good as far as like having him being recognizable. Because all the plant stuff is going to be kind of up to you in a way. So let me see. The plant. Okay, so I'm doing the head here. Now I'm going to do the head of the plants. And they're simple. They're just like, just regular, no eyes. Again, hopefully you can see this well enough. I'm gonna try to blast through this stage as quick as I can so that you can what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was saying. Okay, so I just want the flow here, and then let me see. I want that orb. I think that orb has to be a little bit lower and bigger. And I'm going to do this relatively quick because I'll go more into it in pen. So then it'll be really obvious. Okay, I'm going to have another guy over here. I think he only has... Let me see the box here. I think he has like 4 sometimes. It depends. I'm gonna have another one over here. And I want to have like a crossover here, like he's huge and like he's got one over here maybe coming back to kind of over here somewhere. Like I want 4 generally. This one's a little too. I think this is just a little too stagnant in terms of where they're placed. So I'm going to have this one back a little bit and maybe pull this one a little forward. It's kind of the difficulty with something like this where there's so much information going on with Biollante that it's kind of like, oh, okay, now you have to really, figure it out. It could easily turn to a mess. I guess that's kind of the way I'm going to say it. Okay, I'm going to have it just straight up go off the page right there. And then concentrate kind of more on that orb over here in the stomach area. And then I want some of the bigger plant branches to kind of be obvious here. Alrighty. I think we're doing pretty good. I think we can start going into inking right now. If I have to go back a step, I will talk about it. So let's jump into the inking section as far as like we're starting the line art. Okay, cool. So let's jump into the inking. I'm going to be using these microns. And then I will have occasionally a Faber-Castell PITT artist pen. If you're not sure about what I'm using, everything's in the description. As far you can go buy it on Amazon. I actually even recommend doing that because it's cheaper on Amazon than it is like at Michael's sometimes, a lot of times. But okay, and now I'm gonna go with a really thin one, thin, and I'm gonna try to go into the face of Biollante and just start really going. I mean, deep in here. There's other approaches where you find all the darks first, and then you go into the details. But right now, I want to find the line art because he's so complicated. Um, I want to find the line art first, and then I'll go backwards and find the dark. And that's not necessarily backwards, it's just another approach. Alrighty. Curve line here. Alright, I'm gonna go here to the front, and as far as I'm thinking right now, I'm really just kind of thinking of this the same way I think of like a dinosaur. That's kind of the mouth I see on him, like, or a crocodile. Crocodile would be probably more apt, I think, because it's something that we see in real life right now. We know, pretty much is in front of us moving around. Curve line here, he has this giant freaking tooth. These two teeth over here. I don't know. I wonder who designed him. Isn't there a story about how they designed Biollante? If you know the story, let me know or send me an article maybe. Because I remember there was something weird about Biollante in terms of how the design came to be. And then sometimes he's got a huge old tusk here, and I will do it. Alrighty. Kind of wrinkly stuff around the actual tusks things that are like they're pretty much coming right out of his zygomatic arch or jugo bone. You can say that with reptiles. I have no clue if he's reptilian or not because I think he's like a plant. So I don't know if he's either anything like that. All right. Going over here with the teeth. Now we're going to the teeth here. His teeth are pretty like long and skinny compared to some of the other kaiju. I meant, and by that I mean long and skinny, like proportionally, because I'm sure all of them have giant teeth, but proportionally to his scale of his head, his teeth seem pretty like long and kind of like piranha teeth, like piranha from Mario, kind of thing. Same thing along the bottom. The bottom ones are going to show a little less because I want his lower underjaw to show. If there's a character from the Godzilla universe you want me to draw, let me know. I definitely want to draw. What's that one called? It's not from the Godzilla universe. It's another kaiju. It's oh man, it's Knifehead from Pacific Rim. I really like that design, that Knifehead design. I haven't found a really good action figure of that. See, the thing is, I'll tell you about the action figure stuff because I like action figures that don't have too many joints on them because the joints I think look gross. I know it allows them to have more mobility, right? And you put them in a different pose, but I just don't like the joints in the action figures. I prefer, just having like a cool figurine statue. Like, let me show you one right here of a dinosaur. So I have this guy, right? This is a Papo, and it has got no joints in it, but it looks so good. If it had a joint in there, like a Mattel toy, I'd be like, it just makes it look really cheap to me. And I'd much rather draw from something that's better sculpted in one pose than I would, something that moves around. Generally, there are exceptions to that for sure. There's beasts of the Mesozoic, I think. Those are some really cool dinosaur figures. Um, and there's some cool joints with some Godzilla figures. I don't have that many Godzilla figures because they're expensive. I have a few, but generally, I'd rather them not even have joints. Generally, unless they're easy to hide, because some of Godzilla's. I'm gonna go right here into the teeth and keep going in here. So this is one of those moments where okay, I have a general, pretty decent layout. I'm gonna go deeper in and just start like marking out little wrinkles and junk. You know what I mean? Like little like shapes. So at this point, I am gonna speed it up because I feel like it'd be fine to speed this part up, and I will come back. Okay, so let me speed it up and then come back. Alrighty. Now I'm gonna go in here with a kneaded eraser and erase some of the line work of the stuff I don't need. The line work is set up there to be scaffolding, right? It's there to be your safety net. So now that I don't really need it, I'm just gonna kind of get rid of it. It's really just kind of in the way at this point. Hopefully you're digging this process. I want to do more of these Godzilla related ones. So, like I said, definitely give me maybe a list of characters you want to see. Uh, like I said, as far as like what I want to do next, that's outside the Godzilla universe, but it's still a kaiju. Is Knifehead. I want to do that one eventually. That's probably what's on my mind currently. Um, and then I've drawn Shin Godzilla before, but not for this channel. I'm probably gonna draw Shin, obviously, and I'll get to everything. The other ones that are like fresh on my mind would probably be who else? In the Godzilla universe. Honestly, one of the Mecha Godzillas, not the newest one. I'm cool with that design. I dig it, but I really like the old one of the older ones. Um, one of those would be pretty amazing to do. So, excuse me. All right. So let's get back over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to start outlining some of the other stuff. Here's, right here, this little hand thingy. And I want to go into that a little bit more before I go into the rest of his body. They can also be crocodile-ish, but they don't have to be. So just kind of stay aware of that. They don't have to be like really elongated, but they can be. Draw one here. I will elongate it a bit. One over here. Mm-hmm. Over here. And I'm just kind of outlining that mouth. All right, yeah. And I'm going to have that mouth there like so. Yeah, digging that. Could be a little more elongated, could be a little more angry looking, but I'm going to kind of get to that. And I'm going to pull back here. I want to make it a little bit thinner than I outlined. Just a bit. And then kind of as it gets around this point right here, you're going to have like vines wrapping around it. And I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to do all their little faces first, and then I'll figure that out. So over here, Okay, so now I'm gonna actually go into the darks. Now I'm gonna go in it with this, with the one of the Pigmas. It's a big flat edge, so I'm gonna find all the like large dark areas. I'm almost thinking about it kind of in a way of like, how do you say it? Almost like a painting maybe almost. There's gonna be a lot of dark in this area, and it's gonna lighten up as it reaches kind of the head area. As far as like the amount of dark, that's gonna be it. So a lot of this is gonna be, you know, creeping up into edges up here. So a lot of this like right here is gonna be almost entirely black, and then I can kind of mess with those dark shapes later. If you're, like I said, a big fan of the Godzilla stuff, of the Godzilla villains and stuff like that, hit that like button. That's the biggest thing you can do, and also share it. I guess that would be the biggest thing you can do. If you share it somewhere, it's good for the algorithm. It's good for the channel growth. I've been doing this channel for like 6, 7 years, but I would take these huge breaks, as you could tell the haphazardness of the channel. But I want to get back into it. I want to make it more like the stuff that I really like doing, which is dinosaurs and Godzilla and you know, Pyramid Head. I don't know, like horror, that kind of stuff. I want to get. That's really what I want to make the channel more about. So absolutely, you know, hopefully you'll be a part of that. Going over here again, I'm getting too small with these shapes. I need to get a little bit bigger. Like I said, a lot of this stuff's going to be in darkness over here. So I'm really trying to more or less place them here. You can do the inker thing where you do like an X or something. You do like an X and you're like, oh, fill that in later with dark. But I don't want to do that. I just want to do it as I'm doing it here. So you have these, like I said, the highest contrast should be, oh, actually I didn't say this before. Highest contrast should be around here, should be the focus. That's kind of how you find focus for a lot of these ink style drawings. I don't even want to go in there right now. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go over here and find there's a glow over here. So right here, this is not gonna be as dark because there's gonna be a glow on this area. But more like over here in this quadrant right here. Even with this. But yeah, hopefully you're digging this. Like as far as just me talking through most of it, because a lot of people requested that I talk through most of the drawings and not just kind of show them off at the end. Um, but yeah. Kind of like I said, a lot of dark here. I want a thin line over here just to show that, that tendril or whatever that is coming out there. I want to do like all of these kaijus. That's funny. Yeah, there's like a weird one where it's like an unfinished movie, Godzilla versus like the Snow Wolf or something like that, right? Like a wolf man. I don't know what it is, but it's on YouTube. It's kind of strange. I would go check that out if you haven't seen it. I think it's from an unfinished movie because I was like, what is this? I gotta do another King Kong over here eventually. Cause King Kong's cool. One over here. It's like I said, it's almost painterly the way I'm going about putting these lines in. Almost painterly. Alright, gonna go over here. I'm not even really thinking that hard right now. I'm just kind of like putting all this loose stuff in. I'm always playing a video game, by the way. I play it on the side. I'm pretty much always playing Animal Crossing, which is kind of offhand. But I'm also playing Battle Chasers. It's kind of a video game based on the old comic by Joe Mad. He's like one of my favorite artists. The art is great in it. The game itself is just okay. But I mean, that's pretty much what I'm currently playing. I don't know if you guys are currently playing anything. I feel like I'm always currently playing or currently watching something as far as like on Netflix. Because I'm watching that Loki show too right now. I mean, I know it's going to date this video, but... or I guess not. I mean, like, that Battle Chasers game is like 5 or 6 years old or older. And I'm playing it. I'm just starting to play it now. I'm also playing Breath of the Wild with my sister. So I have to wait till, our schedules align and then me and her play it together. So that's why it's taken so long to play that game. We started maybe around... I can't remember, around my birthday, around 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So, I mean, it's not that long, but I mean, I probably would have, like, really dug into it hardcore now if I didn't have to wait for her. But I don't mind it either. I like for her to experience it. She played a lot of the old Zelda games with me, so I really want her around for every one I can get her around for. Alright, this stuff is going pretty good. Going pretty good. Still that painterly-esque kind of thing going on. This is the point where I am gonna pause it and just keep going into it, but now you know what I'm talking about. So let's jump into fast forward mode. Okay, so we kind of reached that point where I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fast forward and you're going to see me essentially work on this all the way to the end, and then I'm just going to show maybe a quick kind of shot at the very end of this finished product. Like I said, Biollante. I hope you enjoyed it this far. Like I said, hit the share button, hit the subscribe. I'm going to be posting a lot more Godzilla. Let me know if you want to see more Godzilla, because that's just what I want to do, honestly. And that is it. Talk to you very soon. Let's jump right into this.